Let's move on to the fans of CSK that have been waiting 2 seasons to be back to play Whistle Podu, because at the end of the day, what is of the Vivo IPL without Whistle Podu? Again, they've gone the way where they've retained their 3 Indians. So when it comes to RTM, what could Chennai Super Kings be thinking?
Thala, Chinnathala and Sir Jadeja. Arguably 3 of the biggest stars from the Chennai Super Kings team. Indian core retained, now a chance for CSK to reclaim their original glory with the original clan. In MS Dhoni, they have a captain par excellence.
MS turned the match around in favour of the Chennai Super Kings.
In Suresh Raina, the highest run getter in Vivo IPL history.
The right number is this time.
From the leading run scorer in the competition overall.
And in Ravindra Jadeja, they have the ideal T20 player. He bats well, he bowls well, and he fields exceptionally well. He is the full package.
What a shot that is from MS Dhoni.
3 Indians back in the hut, the Whistle Podu gang can now only look at top foreigners from their 2015 squad. Chennai has had openers who set the ball rolling right away. And with a pitch like the one at Chepauk, a bowler with a plethora of variations up his sleeve can only strengthen their chances. But will they look at proven cricketers or look to build a team for the future?
The team in yellow has gone to the same players that defined Chennai Super Kings for the first 8 years. You've got Mahendra Singh Dhoni as the captain, Suresh Raina for 11 crore and Ravindra Jadeja for 7 crore. So they still have 47 crore left in that kitty. And there's only one guy who's missing out now, who cannot be retained using the right to match card, the big player that we're talking about. Ravichandran Ashwin cannot be retained by the CSK, though Mahendra Singh Dhoni has said, and I quote him actually, that he is an important asset and we would want to acquire his services, but it all comes at the right price, if it comes at the right price. But they do have other options also, to be fair.
Now, who says that just before an auction? Is that mind games right there and there when it comes to Ashwin? Because you can't use the RTM, but you can go for him in the auction.
Yeah, I guess, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, Ashwin is from Chennai. He's played for Chennai for the first 8 years. And it's pretty obvious, although they didn't use him or retain him, and since they have retained 3 capped Indian players, they can't obviously go for Ashwin in the right to match. When his name comes up, I'm sure Chennai will look to acquire him, because if you look at their 8 years, it's been the 2 spinners who played a pivotal role, and Jadeja is already there, and I'm sure Ashwin is someone who will fill in that spot. But it's an auction, so I'm sure there will be many other teams who would want Ashwin now that he is a part of the auction, which he wasn't for the last 8 years.
But personally, I don't know, and I like Dav's opinion on it as well, that the way Dhoni actually handled Ashwin for RPSG, it doesn't really...
A lot of people are reading into that.
Yes, because he didn't finish his quota of overs many a times, and his white ball numbers have plummeted since then. I don't know whether there is actual intent to retain him and buy him back from the auctions, or it's just saying the right thing. I don't know.
Chennai pitches are different to a Pune, so I think in that sense, Dhoni might still be thinking that he may look for Ashwin.
And let's not forget, Ravichandran Ashwin might just want to throw himself out there as a captaincy candidate. Some of the teams are looking for captains. But if you look at the foreigners, when it comes to RTM for Chennai Super Kings, because one of the reasons for their strength or the successes in the past couple of years has been these names, whether it's Dwayne Bravo or it's been, it's a Brendan McCullum, a Dwayne Sale, even throw Faf du Plessis into the mix. Now, these are some strong, solid foreign players. You might just want to use your 2 RTM for some of these guys.
Personally, I think they will. They'll go for the foreign players. But just on the Ashwin, just from my point of view, he represents the very essence of Chennai cricket, and they would love to have somebody like that from a local perspective playing at Super Kings. But I personally think he won't be there. And I would, as I said earlier, would be looking at Dwayne Bravo, who's an exceptionally talented and experienced T20 player, along with another explosive player in McCullum.
You know, it's a good thing we ain't at that table. It's a good thing that we're here in the studio and we can discuss all these permutations and combinations when it comes to the Vivo IPL. How about we ask a former CSK member, Scotty Styris is joining us. For whom would you use those RTM options?
Yeah, Dwayne Bravo is simply number one. He has to be at the top of a list which is some pretty good players. He provides everything. Death bowling, excellent in the field, middle order batsman who can close out the innings with bat in hand. He is simply a no-brainer. I expect all the other teams to know this too. They will look to bid him up to make Chennai pay the price. They've already spent a lot of money on retaining Dhoni, retaining Rhino and retaining Jadeja too. I think teams should make Chennai pay. He becomes number one for me. The second one, not quite so easy. I could see them going McCullum. I don't necessarily think they'll use the right to match on McCullum. I think they'll just pay the money, whatever that is, to go after him. The same with Faf du Plessis. They can do that. Andrew Tye would be one that I would think, just because he fills those bowling options. There's no fast bowlers in those retention players, plus Dwayne Bravo, who does bowl at the death. Andrew Tye can bowl up front with the new ball. He can also bowl at the death with all those knuckle balls and slower balls. He becomes, for me, the second retained player, Tye with Bravo.